Damon Khan here for Seconds Out. Pleasure to be joined by Hall of Famer Buddy McGirt. Buddy, good to see you. How you doing, sir?
Good in yourself.
Yeah, not too bad. A little bit tired, the Brits not used to coming to the East Coast and adjusting to.
No, you're in the West Coast now. You're in the West
Coast. My geography is terrible as well too. But yeah, the time difference is mad over here, and the weather. I was expecting a bit more heat. It's a bit hot earlier today, but it's been raining now.
Yeah, for Las Vegas, it's crazy weather. You're in the desert. You never know what to expect.
I hope we don't get lost in the desert. Let's talk about Frank Martin. He's got a big fight coming up this weekend. He's paired with yourself. Talk to me about the talent of Frank Martin.
Well, we got to take care of business Saturday. We know we got a tough guy in front of us. So, we take no one lightly. So the fight was made on short notice. For both camps. So we just got to pick up where we left off from the last fight.
What's the key to a short notice camp, a short notice fight? What's got to be tweaked? What's got to be changed?
Well, it's about just using experience and using your best assets, and add a little more to it, each day. And this way, fight night, hopefully, just does maybe 2 or 3 of the new things that we worked on.
When it comes to the opponent in here, how much do you know about him? What you were expecting from him?
Well, look, he's a spoiler. He's a good fighter. He's scored a couple of upset wins. So a guy like that has everything to gain, nothing to lose. They're the worst type of guys to fight. You got to be on all point. Everything's got to be clicking.
When it comes to the division, it's a super hot, talented division. What do you want for your charge when it comes to the options available to him?
Well, right now, I just want to take care of business Saturday. I'm not looking past Saturday. I never put the cart before the horse. So let's take care of business Saturday, and then when I see you in the UK, we can talk more.
Can I ask you about Saturday? You got a big fight coming up on the main event in the form of Barrios versus Garcia. Who do you think gets the hand race in that one?
Well, to be honest, I've never seen Barrios fight.
Okay.
So I really can't evaluate on that. But it really depends on which Ryan shows up.
Okay. What's the reason to his inconsistency, do you feel, with Ryan Garcia?
That's a tough question. Only person can answer that is Ryan. Him and God, that's it, nobody else.
When it comes to, obviously, yourself having stepped into those shoes, but as a trainer on the outside looking in to make sure your fighter is consistent and keeping the standards high, what do you have to do in and day out to get that out your fighter?
Man, listen, it's a tough job. If you love your job and you care about your fighter, it's tough because if you have, say, 4 different fighters, you got to deal with 4 different personalities every day, say, for 5 or 6 weeks, and everyone's not going to be in the same mood. Everyone doesn't like the same thing, and you can't talk to everyone the same way. So you just gotta balance it.
Is he someone you think you might have to handle with kid gloves in a sense? There's a lot of talk about his mentality and where he is sometimes and how that can affect him, how he's been erratic sometimes around camps, heading into the Devin Haney fight. Some of the side quests he's been on streaming, on kick and things like that, those look like distractions, do they, to a fighter who's trying to win a world title?
Well, I think with a guy like Ryan, I think personally the way to handle a guy like Ryan is you see what mood he's in that day and go with it. Don't go against it, because if you go against it, it's only gonna make it worse. So whatever mood he's in, you ride with him on that mood. Then he knows that you're with him. He'll feel that, hey, this person's with me, they're not going against me.
Barrios is usually a very heavy metal, come forward type fighter, looking for that knockout, looking to brawl. But in his last fight against Manny Pacquiao, he boxed. He didn't get the victory. He got a draw against Manny Pacquiao, which maybe, considering, of course, Pacquiao being a legend, but maybe should have been beating Pacquiao at his age. Is Barrios more inclined, better to box someone of Ryan Garcia's skills to get the victory, or to go toe-to-toe with him?
I think that Pacquiao's experience, anybody has to be careful with Pacquiao.
Right.
Pacquiao's got tremendous, he got experience that you can't buy. And Barrios, being young, fighting a guy of that magnitude even though he's up there in age, he still can fight, and he's got experience. He knows how to survive. He knows how to steal rounds. So I think that was a double victory for Barrios to get the draw.
Well, over in the UK, as you know, Conor Benn is scheduled to be here. He's mandatory for the winner. How do you think he fares against, obviously you see more of Ryan Garcia, how do you think he fares against Ryan Garcia?
I think that Conor right now wins. I think Conor beats Garcia right now.
What gives you that thought?
Conor's a dog, man. You know what to expect when he gets in that ring. And I just think that he has good pedigree. you know, with his dad and himself, and you know, he has that fighter's mentality.
When I look at both fighters, I see power and speed being factors and top parts of both of the game. Do you have one that you side with more as having more powerful or faster hands between the two of them?
Ben has power in both hands.
Okay.
He's got two guns. You know, Ryan, he's got the left hook. Right hand is okay, but he's got that left hook. Conor Benn has got two guns.
What about IQ-wise for both fighters? Where do you rate them on that scale?
I'm gonna go with Conor because of the opposition that he's faced. You know what I mean? A little bit better than the guys that Ryan has faced.
Ryan seemed to think that Conor didn't have the power and speed. He didn't really rate the one victory he had over Chris Eubank Jr. Do you think that's a good victory considering the weight hydration clause that Eubank Jr. was under as Conor looks to grab a world title?
You know, I'm not gonna elaborate on that because, you know, no one ever knows what a person had to go through to make the weight. I mean, how much the hydration clause affected him or didn't affect him. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, they put on a good fight.
Callum Smith has got the fight against David Morrell in Liverpool. Talk to me about that fight.
Well, you know, we start camp next week. You know, Callum's already doing light training. I go next week to Liverpool, and you know, it's gonna be a great night of boxing.
What do you expect to see from David Morrell?
A little bit of everything. You know what I mean? The key is to have answers for it, which Callum will.
You see him as a well-rounded fighter, David?
To a certain level. You know what I mean? He can fight, yes. You know what I mean? But I think that at that next level, you need a little more. He's got it. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he doesn't have it. He's got it. And it's going to be a good night of boxing. But I just think I know Callum's going to overcome it and come out victorious.
Let me get some takes from you, buddy. First of all, we're in a wild era of boxing right now where Manny Pacquiao's coming back in an exhibition. Floyd Mayweather's coming back in a fight against Mike Tyson over in Congo. You're a legend in the game. You've seen everything coming by, but this seems like something crazy. It just seems to be developing in a new, different directions every day we move in the boxing space. What do you think about that and those two fights, if we can call them fights?
Listen, we all know they're exhibitions.
Yeah.
You know, Tyson and Mayweather is an exhibition. It's not a fight. You know what I mean? And if anyone believes it's a fight, then there's something fucking wrong with them. Okay? You know what I mean? It's just, come on. Floyd, Mike, come on, no. You can't make that a fight. You make it an exhibition. People are going to pay to see it, yeah. But to come and say, yo, who's going to win the fight, to me, is a crazy-ass question.
Do you like this arena that we're in where there's obviously opportunities for fighters to play off of what they did in the sport, but sometimes when
they're making money, you know what I mean? So if they're making money, I can't be mad at them. I just wish them all the best, you know?
What about Derek Chisora versus Deontay Wilder? What's your read on that fight?
Interesting. I mean, I love Chisora, he's my man. You know what I mean? You know, Wilder can still punch. I mean, that's the last thing a fighter loses. You know what I mean? So it's got me. You know what I mean? I just hope Derek is. You know what I mean? Is smart. I think Derek has the experience and the will. You know what I mean? He just can't get in no exchanges. You know, Chisora has to tighten up that defense big time.
I'm going to get your expert take on this. I've asked a lot of trainers for their eye on this. Does Wilder still throw with the conviction that he threw with before in the years where he was getting those big knockouts, where he was seen as the destroyer?
I think now he will in this fight because he's back on the big stage and he's got something to prove. So he's going to be throwing Scud missiles for sure.
Who do you think wins?
Tough. But I got to go with my man Chisora.
Tyson Fury returns against Arsenbek Makhmudov. There's talk about who his new trainer is going to be. But have you ever had a knock on your door from the Furies to see if they'd work with yourself?
No, I haven't had no knock, no call, nothing. No.
Something you'd be open to?
Of course.
What do you see with Tyson as things that you think he could improve on in his game?
Well, I can't reveal that because if I do, somebody else might get the chance before me. So I can't reveal that.
Would you change a lot? Can you say that?
I'm not going to say nothing.
Fair enough. Anthony Joshua, of course, obviously a tragedy befell him, but there's talk about him potentially returning to the ring. Just in life and what you've seen with grief and sports, do you think he can return back to what he was, considering what happened?
You know, he can do it. You know what I mean? But to be in that, you know, if you lose a friend like that, it's hard. But if you're in the same vehicle with them, can have a different type of impact on you. You know what I mean? And then I hope Joshua, if he does come back, I hope he comes back because he wants to come back, not because he's got to prove something to people that I can overcome this adversity. He has nothing to prove to nobody, champ. I'm saying you lost a family member, basically. You know what I'm saying? And you was in the same car with him, where if you was sitting in different seats, it could have been you. You know, when you really think about it. So if he does come back, I hope he comes back because he wants to, not because he's out to prove something to anybody, because he has nothing to prove to anybody. He's a great man. I mean, he was a great champion, a hell of a guy, hell of a fighter. You know what I mean? I got much love and respect for him. I just hope he does a decision based on himself, something he feels he has to do, not to prove anything to anybody.
Terence Crawford was on the same sort of lines. He feels he's not going to come back to the sport because he thinks there's nothing else left to him to prove. What more does he have to do? And he doesn't want to give his health to the sport. He's done that for so many years. But on the other side of the coin, Canelo really wants that rematch with him. He says there's more to him than what he showed in that first fight with Terence Crawford. Do you think there is? Do you think we should see that rematch between the two of them?
Well, you know, I respect Terence Crawford on his decision, and honestly, I hope he sticks to it. You know, he's a good family man with his kids. You know, a lot of people don't understand, you know, what fighters go through when they get over 50, what ex-fighters go through physically, man, a whole lot of shit, you know what I'm saying? So if he's able to bow out now on top, stick to your guns, champ.
Do you think he will?
Yeah, I think he will. He's, you know, Terence is the type of guy, to me, he loves a challenge. That's what makes him such a phenomenal fighter. He loves that challenge. He rises to that occasion. You know, the better his opponent, the better he is. And like he said, he's done it all. What else is there who else is there left from the fight?
No, I completely agree. But as someone who loves a challenge, how do you walk away from that? Does it not bite at you? Is it something that you have to?
Well, you beat everybody, and you beat the best, Canelo. So what else is there? Who else are going to fight now? Was he going to go to heavyweight, fight Usyk?
No, almost like you're almost fighting against yourself in a way.
Nah, he's not fighting against himself. You know what I mean? I see him on social media with his kids, enjoying life. That's the greatest feeling in the world, man, because you miss out on so much in your kids' lives as a fighter. And when you're a dad, you're on the road, you're traveling. He's been blessed enough now that he's got enough money that his kids, his grandkids, and his great-grandkids can all live. So enjoy that, man, because that time you can't get back.
Buddy, real insightful conversation. Thanks for speaking to Seconds Out, sir. And I'll see you back in the UK, I'm sure, as well, too.